here's the thing, I feel like there's a thin line with religion and Christianity. I feel like a lot of people are very religious, and I like that you said that I'm spiritual, because I don't consider myself a religious person, because a lot of religious people are very judgy. Like,
break it down for me.
Religion tells you what not to do, but then
Mostly.
Jesus is not like that. Like, if you look at the Bible and you see who Jesus was, you could tell, like, in every point of his life, he was radical. He was very intentional, even sarcastic. Like, he knew what he wanted. And so if you're really imitating Jesus, there's no need for you to judge, because Jesus didn't judge nobody. He hanged out with people that he shouldn't even have been with, you know what I mean? He had disciples who were thieves. Did he not know that Judas was a thief already? But he put him in charge of money. You know, things that Jesus represented and what most people represent are not the same. Like, it's totally different. So I always say, like, if you're gonna represent Christ, represent him to the fullest. Don't represent the idea of Christ. But at some point I had my fair share of even the church, you know, attacking me, like, why are you saving and singing elsewhere? Why you know, but then
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another exciting episode. You know that every other week it's always exciting, and make sure that you keep subscribing. The family is growing, so just go to the subscribe button and make sure you put the bell on so that you don't miss out on any videos that we post on the channel. I'm your host. My name is Charlie, and I'm so excited for this particular episode because my guest is an amazing, super talented human being that I feel you should know about. And I remember telling her that, you know what, I really want to have an interview with you, because tell you what,
wait, how long have we been talking about this?
This is I think this is even a better time
to
actually do it, because we've been wanting to do it for over a year now.
Yeah, I remember.
I wanted to give you an amazing intro. How do I introduce you if you had to introduce yourself?
What's up, everybody? I'm God's favorite creative. My cousin hates it when I say I'm God's favorite creative, but yeah, I'm God's favorite creative. My name is Nova Amandhla. I am a journalist, musician, all-around creative. So anything creative, I'm your girl. Literally.
Absolutely amazing. Let's start with your journey, though. Well, where did you grow up? I know you've traveled a lot. Where did you grow up? Where were you born? Where did you grow up? And how did you end up here?
Okay, so I was born in Kitwe. And I grew up partially in Johannesburg. So I spent most of my time in SA. And later on came back to Zambia. I was staying in Chimwemwe, just so you know. And you know,
I guess that's where that thing comes from. Because I know everybody that comes from there.
So I was staying in Chimwemwe, and I grew up playing with Kay from Chandana K.
Is it? So you are childhood friends? Amazing stuff.
Crazy stuff. So so pretty much that's that. I grew up in Kitwe. I was born in Kitwe, grew up in SA, went to school partially there, and then came back here, did school in Kitwe, went to Chimwemwe High School, and that's how I finished my high school. And then later on, I think we relocated to Ndola from Kitwe, and pretty much my whole life changed after, because I was then starting afresh. So
So having brought up in two different countries, and probably cultures are different, what is it that actually meshes with your personality in there, and what are some of the earliest memories of you being out of the country? Okay,
so I feel for me, entertainment and music have always been part of me. Like, even the time I was in SA, my biggest influence was my granddad. He was in a jazz band, and he was in a jazz band, and I was always that young person who would go to the club with him, because then, like, I was 8, and he'd carry me with. So yeah, he was my biggest influence when music was concerned. And even just being in SA is really loud, and the arts are very appreciated. So I was very active kid at school. I did drama, I did music, so that was always a part of me. In school, I would dance, I would sing, I would act. So everyone, to some extent, even you, like, yeah, she's definitely gonna study journalism or get in the entertainment industry, because that was me even from a younger age. So yeah.
Are you like the only one in the family with music genes?
No, apparently I feel like I was, for the longest, I was the black sheep of the family, because like everyone is like a lawyer, a doctor, you know, an accountant. They're doing all this, you know.
Paint me this picture. What sort of family setup do you come from?
Okay, so I grew up with my mom.
Yeah.
Because for the longest my dad was in the UK. He just got work there and all that stuff. So I grew up mostly with my mom. But my mom and dad are together, and I have a sibling. She's 12 years old.
Yeah.
So, like I said, for the longest I grew up with my mom. So I wasn't very like you know how moms could be. Yeah. So my mom, she's
always expected higher for you.
Yeah, because also being the first child and being female, for that fact.
Like, you're the firstborn.
Yeah. So there's so many expectations. The pressure is real. Even more so because you're female.
Yeah.
So it was a bit weird, honestly. I think the pressure was coming mostly from like outside relatives that I didn't grow up with, and people would tell my mom like, oh my god, giving your daughter so much freedom, you know, and all that stuff. And then sometimes my mom would try and be so strict with me, and then later she's like, okay, but I don't misbehave, so like why am I giving her all this curfew and all that stuff? So
how did you become the black sheep though?
I was the black sheep because I was the one who decided to do journalism and go into the music industry.
Be a doctor, a lawyer.
Yes, they actually wanted me to be a doctor, and I at some point I wanted to do law, but I guess that died out because I was thinking of all the restrictions lawyers have, and I was like, if I'm gonna be a lawyer and with all these restrictions, I don't think I would be as expressive as a creative as I want to be, being, you know, a lawyer. So I was like, no, you know what, let me do journalism, and I would still give myself room to like do music and just be creative. So I was the black sheep because some people were disappointed that I decided to do journalism and go into the music industry. So even my cousins who loved music didn't come out until I was like, you know, so they started seeing things happening for me, and then slowly everyone started surfacing out. Then I was like, oh, this person can sing, this one can sing. And so at first it was like, don't be like Nova, do this, da 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 da. Now I'm starting a whole inspiration. Everyone's like, I want to study music. I was like, I thought you guys said music is not a career, so what are we doing?
And you know, being a creative, it's something that is so crazy, because in your early years you get to struggle with what you want to do, because at one time you want to act, at one time you want to sing,
right?
At one time you want to be this newscaster, you want to do radio, you want to do TV. For you, when did it stick to say, you know what, it's gonna be music? And are you limited to that?
No, I'm not limited to that. Like I always tell you when we have those conversations, I'm always like, music and journalism for me work hand in hand. Obviously, I've never been the type to dream of reading the news, because I always just feel like, you know.
Why though?
I don't know. Like I grew up watching a lot of serious TV, so I was always saying, if I'm gonna get on TV, I want it to be fun, informative, but fun. So I plan on reinventing TV shows and just making them something that's modern, that you could watch and still learn something. So I mean, I feel like the news is a little too serious for me and my personality. I'm really just like such a free spirit. So so music, I knew that music was definitely my path, because first of all, it's my God-given gift. I didn't go to music school. I had this musical ability since I could remember. What I had was people who helped me harness it. My granddad, Trina, when I was here in Lusaka. I had so many mentors, like God gave me so many mentors to just help me. But I've always known that music has been something that I wanted. At some point I was even second guessing journalism, but when I got into school I remembered why I was in love with it in the first place. So so those two, TV and music, definitely.
Yeah, you did what a lot of young artists love to do. I'm gonna drop an EP, and you did. And when you said you had an EP, I was just like, yeah, let's listen to it. You know, because you usually get a lot of that stuff. And when I listened to yours, I was like, what? This is gold up here. Like, how did you come up with the idea to put an EP together?
Okay, so funny thing, I did my EP like a long time ago. My initial EP got lost. Like the data got lost, the PC crashed.
Oh, every musician's got that story though.
Yeah, like I always
we need to start keeping our stuff.
No, but like I just we really did. But like I just also felt like maybe it was just God saying, I don't know about this project. Like, let's start afresh, you know, because everything changed for me. Like I changed all the music. I didn't even want to recreate any of the stuff. I just did everything all afresh, and I changed the name of the EP.
Yeah.
The first EP was supposed to be I am da 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 da, like listen to who I am.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and then I did 1-2 tracks for this new EP, and it was different sounds. And I was like, we're calling this Unveiled, because at this point I'm just unveiling to you guys like what I can do. And it was a very fun EP to make, though it took me 2 years to drop it. Like,
after it was done.
Yeah, after it was done, because then I was asking myself, like, am I ready?
Yeah.
Do you know that it's very scary to drop a project, especially when you're just doing it on your own? Because
what's so
prior
scary
to
about
that,
it? Like the response? Or
yes,
it's your
like
talent
it's
you don't
also,
trust?
No, it's not, I do trust my talent.
Yeah.
It's the fear of
being judged.
what if it's not ready? Like, what if it's not really, you know what I mean?
And you sit there listening to it day in, day
but
out.
then you still feel like, I feel like this is like an OCD for every creative. You just feel like it's really not perfect even still. So I would listen to the songs over and over again. I guess I procrastinated for 2 years, and I was like, okay, are we doing this? Are we not doing this? And then I set my foot down and I said, I'm gonna do this. Let's do this. And a lot of people came at me and said, yo, Nova, you know, you've been doing a lot of features, but then do you have the audience? And I won't mention these people out of respect, but like they threw a lot of shade at me. And I wasn't expecting that from them, because they're in the industry and these are people that I look up to, and I was thinking would be even excited that I'm deciding to step out of my box and just, you know, do something. But they were like, you don't have the numbers, no one's gonna buy your music, da 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 da. And I was getting so depressed. I remember telling my mom, I was
this
like,
is your first EP, like,
right?
and then the energy.
And I was telling my mom, like, maybe I should just like tell my distributors that I'm not ready. And my mom is like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. Like, you've given your distributors the dates already set. It doesn't really matter who is for you at this point. Is this what you want to do? And I was like, yeah, this is what, then do it. So I dropped my EP. It dropped on the 8th of October. And the response was mad. It was so overwhelming. I was shaking every single time.
Yes.
I was looking at my phone. I was like, wait, are these my numbers?
Yeah.
What? Because I was like, oh my God, I was told I really didn't have the audience, but where are all these people coming from? And here's the thing, most people who are listening to my EP are from my hometown, like from my dad's hometown.
Yeah.
Nigeria and Johannesburg too. And then Zambia was like the third on the list.
We're always third.
In Zambia, it was Kitwe and then Lusaka. So I was like, oh, okay. So people do pay attention to me. And yeah, so pretty much that's what happened, honestly.
And you got a lot of international features, magazines, and a lot of attention was put on the EP. And I was like, this could be something. And out of that, I mean, a lot of people actually take that advantage to actually make international features. Is this something that you're working on?
I have been working on a lot of that. I got, you know how you see producers and you're like, oh my God, I'd want to work with this producer. So I've always wanted to work with Oxygen Mix. Yeah. And because I'm listening to the songs he does for Joe Boy and all that, so I just texted him on Instagram, honestly. I was like, you know, let's see what happens. Yeah. And he responded and I was like, oh my word, what? So we started talking and I told him like, yo, this is what I do. And I sent him my EP and he was like, oh my God, are you for real? Like, this is your EP, like you don't... I can't believe that this is your stuff. So one of my upcoming projects, Oxygen Mix, is producing and mastering it.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So I have like a bunch of other people that I have been networking with. So yeah, do expect a lot from me, honestly.
Yeah. When you listen to Zambian music right now and what everybody's vibing to, what's your general reaction?
I feel like whoever started this sound, it worked for them because I'm guessing they went through a process to finally settle down and say, this is the sound that I want. However, something that I don't like is that everyone is trying to do the same thing.
Recreate the same
thing. I feel like if you're recreating it, add who you really are, authentically are. Like, if you are a jazz artist, find a way of fitting the jazz into that sound and R&B and all that stuff. But I have a problem with everyone trying to sound like the same person because no one ever blew up from being a copycat. Like, be yourself, like, be authentic. Yes, the business side, penetrate into the system and then maybe change it a little when you're in the system. I get it, but like, just don't lose yourself, because it's very easy to lose yourself as a creative, especially when there's so many voices around you that are louder than your own voice. Like, everyone is telling you, sound like this, sing like this, dress like this, da 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 da. Like, at some point you lose yourself. So I love the sound, but I feel like everybody should not be doing it. Like, find your own sound. You know,
it's 2022 and we still have this thing of the music industry being male dominated. Why are young artists, especially female artists, not coming forward? Yeah, they've stepped up, but I think the numbers could be more. What's holding you back?
What was holding me back? Point of correction, I'm not being held back anymore. What was holding me back was the experience that I got when I moved to Lusaka. I had a lot of producers trying to do stuff with me, and it was very disgusting, honestly. Like, I'm coming up to this industry and I'm looking up to you, and this is what you want from me? For real? You've had those experiences? Serious? And I've had a lot of people sell my songs to other people because they were like, oh, she's upcoming, da 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 da.
She won't know.
I had, you know what I mean? But then your work, even if you change the whole melody, I wrote the lyrics, I still know that this is my stuff. So for me, it was a bit traumatizing because I had my fair experience of people trying to, get in my pants and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to get into this. So I stayed so low-key just working with different people because I was also just freaked out. But now I'm like, you know what? I can defend myself now. I can talk. So it's different now. I'm not hiding anymore.
How do we get rid of that problem? Because I think somehow it's hindering the progress of female artists, because I've heard those stories a lot, and many artists will not actually even come out and say it, but we know it's happening. How do we put an end to that and start appreciating female talent?
I don't know, honestly, how best we could do it. I feel like the people who are doing this should just stop. Like, it's 2022. Can we just be better people? Because if you're gonna help somebody, just help them, Like, if you're not gonna help them, at least direct them how they should go. Like, this should not be... See, the thing is, our industry, it's very small. So if you've done things with people, we'll know.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll know. Like, you become an industry baby. And sometimes being an industry baby is not a good label, because then everyone will not even take you seriously. So the best way, I feel, is we should speak out. Anyone who's experienced this, whether you're female or male. And I know there have been males who've been molested by their managers and da 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 da.
Males?
Yes, but then they can't come out and say this because already society doesn't expect men to go through such thing. I mean, imagine if a man went to the police now and said he was raped. Like, who would even take him seriously? But if it was a female, it's more serious, and it's very unfair. But let's be each other's keeper, genuinely take care of each other in this industry, because we have only each other. I always say, like, Zambia doesn't have a music industry. Because we don't have a system that works. Like,
it's just a group of artists.
It's just a group of artists, like, trying to figure things out. But if we could be even as 5% as united, it would make a whole lot of difference. And that also starts with the segregation. Like, let's stop,
the camps
because
within the industry.
As new wave artists, as they like to call us, they say we're cheeky, da da da. But like we want to reach out to these
but
people.
Most of you are.
We want to reach out to these people, but it's also the reception that we get from them. You know, it's not a competition. This industry is very big for all of us to succeed.
There's space for everyone,
and we can't override you because you've been legendary for a very long time. We can learn from you, but then if you're making it hard for us to learn, we're also gonna keep our distance and just do things as new waves and just take over in our own arcade. And it shouldn't be like that. You know?
And I think New Wave is taking over slowly.
Yeah, we
appreciate it because they're coming up with something that is so
over.
Fresh.
I agree.
And it's absolutely amazing. And there's a lot of artists down there like trying to come up that are doing great stuff. Yeah. And you been signed with Marky too. Tell us a bit about that. Congratulations, by the way, because a lot of people want to.
Thank you so much. So this is something that we had been talking about. Me and Marky too had been talking about this for like ages. And at first, you know, it was a bit of miscommunication because it kind of looked like I wasn't interested, but I was. But I just had so many stuff going on in the background that I was afraid of. And, you know, obviously what I just mentioned. And I was just like, can I open up to him and tell him about this? But then I was like, nah. But yeah, we finally like sealed the whole deal, and yeah, I'm excited to work with him, honestly. I'm excited to see what
does the future look like under him. Are you maintaining your sound, or is it something that is under discussion?
Oh no, so the thing is, something that I do love about Marky too is he's very smart, and he's very business minded, and also he's listened to my sound. My sound is something that can sell locally and internationally too. And something that I just had to tweak about my sound was adding the Afrobeat aspect to it, because for the longest I was ordinarily R&B and soul, like just all the way back. But then now, because Afrobeats is a sound that I really can't run away from, it's here to stay. Like I'm a piano, right? So I was like, why not incorporate it? Because at the end of the day, it's business. They're investing. They want to get their monies back, and I also want to make my money. So we need to do what we have to do. So as regards to my sound, when it comes to my creativity, my artistry, he just says, do you, fam? Do you? Like, express yourself however you want to do it, and let's find a way of making this work. So
and how do you want the industry to receive you? Like, what are you bringing to the industry?
What am I bringing to the industry? I feel
that we haven't seen before.
At this point, I would say like there's nothing that you haven't seen before. But then what makes something original is how somebody else executes it. I feel like there's no one that can sing the way I sing.
Absolutely.
There are people who can sing better that I acknowledge. But there's always, you can tell me. Like anytime you've ever heard a song, or if you know my voice that well, you know like this is me. And all in all, I'm a different person. How I dress, how I carry myself, everything about me is just different. You know what I mean? So there's no copycatting me or duplicating me. So yeah, what am I bringing? I'm definitely bringing originality. I'm bringing soul back, but so in a very modern, you know, way. And I always feel like Zambia has so much to offer, but then we're always underrated. I don't know, for some reason, but then now I feel like Africa is at a pedestal where everyone is like trying to get to know what is going on in Zambia, what are we doing now. So
and speaking about that, you know, like it's one thing that I really don't appreciate about our own people is the fact that we only clap for something if it's been appreciated outside. Why don't we start here first and let the outside clap? You know, but
I feel like reverse psychology is something that really works for Zambians. Like you would stay here for the longest and people would like walk all over you and underrate you, but the moment I would decide to go relocate and stay in the UK, and then I'm doing so well and I come back and then
like, oh, she's
suddenly
Zambian.
I'm like, oh my god, that's our person. I was used to say this, if Sampa the Great was here for the longest, I don't think the things she's achieving now she would achieve. But like it's good that she's not here, but now like everyone is now claiming her, like, oh, Sampa is our person, da 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 da. So but like that's sad. And either way,
she is breaking barriers.
Yes, she is
setting new bars.
She is.
And being a creative, what do you think she's doing right?
Sampa has done this whole research thing. Like she's very well researched. You could tell that she is, and she stays very rooted to who she is as an African person. She understands the culture, she understands her roots, and she's always incorporating that. And I feel like that's something that we try to lose. We try to lose our culture, we try to lose our roots,
identity,
where we're from, exactly, who we are, things that we love, where our ancestors are from, and all that kind of stuff. But then that's what she has got and modernized it and presented it back. Like, it's the same history, same origin, same stories, but she's telling it in a different way, in her own way. So, and pretty much that's the balance. Like, just get something, see what's being appreciated now, find a way of making that, and that's it. Like,
and I think she has a pretty dope team.
She really does. Teamwork does make a dream work, and you could see that from everything they do. Like, and I love the fact that she's plugging on Tio, she's plugging on Mwanje. Like, everyone is just, moving in one accord. And I hate that I don't see a lot of people blogging about her and even talking about her. Absolutely. It's always the same artist. Like, guys, you know who I'm talking about, but I'm just like,
true.
So
I don't know when we're gonna start like really, really appreciating her. I think she's underrated still in the country, but she's big outside.
I always feel like if people don't have dirt on you, they really can't talk about you. Like, the reason that most people can't really say a lot of things about Sampa the Great is she's always moving. Like, one time you're trying to like figure out, and she's gone. Like, she's gone. So the fact that they have nothing against her and they can't really hold her down to anything, they won't say much about her.
Wow, great stuff. Let's talk about TV. You recently landed yourself a new gig on TV. How did that come about? Tell us a bit more.
So I got done with journalism. I graduated on the 21st of October.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Honestly, I felt like COVID really delayed my progress in school. We overstayed.
No, it all did.
We really overstayed in that school. Like, we stayed a year longer even, and I was getting so tired of it. And after I was done, I was asking myself and I was asking God, like, what next? What are we doing next? And then I saw the Diamond Presenter Search, and I was like, you know what, let's go do this. What do I have to lose? I'm already setting my foot in the music side, so let's balance it as well. And I feel like I haven't done TV in a long time. The last I did TV was Zura, and after that I haven't like done TV because then I was like in school full time. I literally even stopped creating at some point. Like, worst off, I got hacked at some point, but we got that back. So I went
really
for
got a toll on you at the time.
It really did. I remember calling you, so depressed about it. I was like, dude, they hacked my account. I really worked so hard.
But glad you recovered.
I'm glad
it is back.
too.
The numbers are up again.
So I went for the audition, and there were a lot of people. I really wasn't expecting that turnout. So, to be honest with you, I really didn't know what I was walking into, and I found a whole bunch of people qualified, made it all the way to top 3. I didn't win that, but I learned a lot of things. And one of the things that I had the privilege to do is even produce and direct a show that you were watching, and you were telling me about it, that you
when
said,
I saw it, I was blown away. I was like, this is so refreshing. It's something that's different on TV.
The whole point of that was to bring a show that competes with Top Billing, because Top Billing was like the it. Like, I watched it a couple of times. I was like, oh, okay, but then I didn't see any TV product that could compete with Top Billing. So when we sat down, the 5 of us, before I even reached all the way to top 3, it was just like the 5 of us, and that was like our task to create a magazine show. And previously we had created a magazine show that Costa hated, dreadedly hated. Like, he really hated it because it was a sit down and to a sit down and another sit down, and okay, honestly, now that we sit down and think about it, he wasn't wrong. That show was boring. Now that I sit down, now that I sit down and like watch it, I'm like, okay, we could have done better, and we all got tired of being yelled at. I personally got tired of Costa telling me I'm playing it safe, I'm not getting out of my comfort zone. But then I'm like, what do you mean comfort zone? Like, this is my niche. I found my strength, this is my niche. But then yeah, so we were given a chance. He didn't eliminate the 5 of us, so we were given a chance to like redo another magazine show. And this time around, we were just like, guys, it's now or never. Okay, this is like a breaking point. Let's make him realize or like understand why he picked the 5 of us, because it was starting to feel like he was regretting keeping the 5 of us because of the previous show we made. So when we did Lavishly Living, it set the standard.
Yeah.
It just set the standard, because we were like, okay guys, let's put in our work, let's do what we have to do. The sleepless nights at Diamond TV, going home at 2 a.m, being back at the station at 8, it was worth it, honestly. It really was worth it.
From the knowledge that you've gathered all throughout this journey, in that presenter stage, what makes a good TV show?
Teamwork, one. What made that TV show that Costa said he didn't like was the fact that we didn't work as a team. It was very disorganized. We gave each other positions, but we were not listening to each other.
Yeah.
Like, it was just like, oh, okay, you're the director, fine, but like, I'm gonna direct either way. Yo, you're doing graphics, oh, whatever, but I'll do them anyway. So we didn't have teamwork in the first place, and that's what made. And then the thing is with TV, you can't cheat.
Yeah.
If you were not working as a team, everyone will watch that. They will see that there was no chemistry. They will see it, and it showed. So what makes a good production? One is teamwork. Second thing is understand what you're trying to bring out. Like, who is your target audience? What's your brand archetype? Who are we selling this to? It's even easier to create a show when you understand who your brand archetype is, who your buyer personas are, and that's something that we had to put in detail. Something about Costa Mwanta, he loves details, and more than details, he loves his money. You're not wasting his airtime for nothing. Exactly. So make it make sense, and that's exactly what we put in place. All of that, thinking about product placement, the marketing opportunities, how we executing this. We literally use the whole room, the relevance, the originality, the money, the execution. We put all that in place, and it's something that someone could sit down and appreciate after the Lavishly Living thing was done. So yeah,
amazing stuff. And so it's gonna be both music and TV for you from here on. We're in it. We're in for it this year, hey?
You really are.
But it really is a great thing, because both the industries actually do merge at some point, and it's gonna work well for you.
I'm excited, honestly. I am excited to like finally get out of it. I know here and there my parents, especially my mom, could have had doubts sometimes. She'd be like, you know, if this music thing is not working out, maybe try and do so. But you know, sometimes we get it, like parents always want to like, you know, but I told her like, look, this is what I want to do. I want to turn my career into my job, because I already know it's my vocation, but like I want to turn it into my job. It's not a hobby for me. It's not something I'm doing to pass time. This is something I'm passionate about. This is something I want to turn into a job, like I said, make money from it. And yeah, so patience is very important, and I feel like I'm a very patient person, especially with my art. There have been moments that people persuaded me to do things before I was ready, and I still stood not to my ground and said, no, not now. Like, it's not time. I
just
believe,
like this interview.
You know what I mean? Like yes, this is like a perfect example. We've been talking about this for over a year, and this is when we're doing it.
Imagine.
So perfect timing.
Look at that. And one thing I love about you is the fact that I see your posts most of the time, and your status updates. A few privileged people that have your status updates pop up. One thing I've noticed about you is like you're a very spiritual person, and one would wonder like,
how's she doing secular music and she's spiritual?
Is it something that comes from your family background, and how did you discover your spirituality?
Honestly, I grew up in a family that went to a Jehovah's Witness church. I go to a Pentecost church. You did not see that coming, did you? Yes, but like all of them were like really traditional church, and I've always just known, like, I remember going to a Jehovah's Witness church one time with my grandma, and I slept all throughout, and she woke me up like, oh, service was done. And when I reached home, I was asking my mom, like, is it right to be sleeping in church? And my mom was like, oh, did you sleep in church? I was like, yeah. And that's how I knew that was not my church. Because if I'm going to be sleeping during service,
a lot of JW is going to be mad at you.
Then that's not my church. No, like, no disrespect to anyone who goes to it. Like, I just didn't feel like I belonged.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to find a church that I belong to. Right. So God is very important in my life, honestly. In everything that I do, God is always the center. My being is already God. This gift that I'm even like here sharing, it was all God. So why am I gonna omit him from the whole journey when he is the journey? So yeah.
That's amazing stuff. You're so deep rooted into it, you know, and which is an amazing thing, because looking at what you do, the industry can be such a messy place to be.
Yeah. If something that my parents always tell me is don't forget to pray. Like my mom would always tell me, like, if things get hard, run to God, like pray. Like if you have to cry. If you do what you have to do, but pray. Like whatever you do, if there's something you're going to fight for the relationship that you have with God to still be solid. Because I feel like it's even easier for the devil to attack us now, because it's all about relationships. Honestly, if you think about it, like people break up because they can't communicate. It's communication. Relationships we're failing at that. This generation is, and it's easy for the enemy to attack us. And so once you have a stronger bonding with God, it's much easier to navigate life and all this other sector, love, relationships, whatever. It becomes easier, honestly, to even just contain and stay sane at the same time.
You mentioned something that is very, very important, and something that a lot of people actually struggle with: how to identify a church. I've had people that have just given up. How did you find yours?
Okay,
what are you looking for? What do you look for?
What I look for is, for me, I feel like the word is important, right? And how you deliver the word, for me, is the important part. I always want to look for a church that I'm able to serve in and feel at home. You know how when you go into a store and you're looking for an outfit, right? And you try on a couple of outfits and you finally find the one, like you feel it in your guts, like, this is the shoe, this is the dress, and that's how I always want to feel. Like, I want to feel home. I don't really know how to explain what it is that really drew me to the church that I went to, but it was mostly the word. There's just a way Reverend Bruce breaks down the Bible. It's like, I've read this verse, but I've never looked at it that way. And it was one thing that made me go like, okay, this man is smart. He's not just a pastor, he's smart. But like, other than that, he really cares about everyone's personal relationship with God. And that's the thing. Like, it's not, I find it very boring when everyone is just trying to preach about prosperity. Why aren't you preaching about salvation? Like, why aren't you talking about the actual journey? And that's something that he talks about. And that's what made me stay. That church is just, it's so modern. It's like an urban church, but then they have so many things that allow you to serve in church in the area that you're in. And they have media. And I'm in media, so I was like,
it works for
and
you.
So they have departments that I do in real life, like music and media. And I was like, okay,
I'm here.
Okay, I think I found my church, and I've been there since 2018. So
amazing. So we can actually call you, what they say, a staunch Christian.
Here's the thing, I feel like there's a thin line with religion and Christianity. I feel like a lot of people are very religious, and I like that you said that I'm spiritual, because I don't consider myself a religious person, because a lot of religious people are very judgy. Like,
break it down for me.
Religion tells you what not to do, but then mostly. Jesus is not like that. Like, if you look at the Bible and you see who Jesus was, you could tell, like, in every point of his life, he was radical. He was very intentional, even sarcastic. Like, he knew what he wanted. And so if you're really imitating Jesus, there's no need for you to judge, because Jesus didn't judge nobody. He hanged out with people that he shouldn't even have been with. You know what I mean? He had disciples who were thieves. Did he not know that Judas was a thief already? But he put him in charge of money. You know, things that Jesus represented and what most people represent are not the same. Like, it's totally different. So I always say, like, if you're gonna represent Christ, represent him to the fullest. Don't represent the idea of Christ. Represent who he really is. If you're gonna follow something, do it right. Because other than that, why are you representing a fracture of it? So that's just that. I believe in doing good. I believe in love. I believe in sharing the love. I love to share God. Any given chance, I will encourage someone. I will pray with somebody because that's what it's supposed to be about. I really don't like it when people judge other people, because I basically hate it when people judge me either. And I always try not to do that. But at some point, I had my fair share of even the church, attacking me, like, why are you saving and singing elsewhere? Why you, but then...
How do you deal with that, though?
Bro, that was like a very hectic year for me.
Yeah.
Also because I was not as strong as I am now, like spiritually rooted as I am now. I was still trying to find myself, so that threw me off a little, and I stopped going to church for a period of time because I was very angry. And I remember sitting down with Reverend
angry
Bruce.
At the church?
No, I was just angry at not at God. I was just angry at everyone at church. Like, why are you being so judgy? But then I sat down with Rev and I said, look, I love to serve, and this is 7 opens doors for me. I know a lot of people will find it very weird, but like, God has always opened doors for me, even in this industry that I am in. And one thing that makes me come back is, if really God didn't want me to be doing what I'm doing now, he would have given me any other gift but music. Like, I could have been a professional plumber and still serve and do whatever, but like, he gave me these gifts, these talents for a reason. And it was frustrating for me, but yeah, I got a lot of mentorship, and I told myself, like, I'm going back and I'm shutting my ears, and that's what I did.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Yeah, and it worked, because then I'm like, I reminded myself why I was serving in the first place. It was never about the people. It was always about God.
Amazing stuff. Let's go to the more interesting stuff. Yep. Last time we had a conversation, you were telling me about, and I remember asking you a lot of questions.
Oh my God,
and I was like,
I hope you're not talking about my relationship with Sophia.
Yeah, we're going there. And today you just told me that you're no longer together with the guy we're talking about at the moment. And I remember telling you that long distance relationships don't work. What did you do?
I didn't do anything. First of all, why is it that everyone thinks women do something? We don't do anything. Okay, sometimes we do things, and we could be matured enough to admit it. Yeah. But it wasn't my fault, honestly. He felt like the distance was a little too much for him. It was getting to him. I don't know.
Isn't it something you should have known in the beginning?
My point exactly, because already from the beginning we were already distant, and we still decided to go in this and start it. But yeah, down the line, and there's something that God has imprinted in us that most men may not have, is the sixth sense. We have that, and
women do have that.
I could tell, I could feel it when something was different. I felt like, okay, there's been a lifting, and I'm not feeling the protection, I'm not feeling the security, I'm not feeling that, and I knew, like, okay, something has changed. And the thing is about me, you know me, I'm very keen on communication, like even just amongst my friends. I'm one person to have uncomfortable conversations with you. If something is not right, I'll sit you down and I'll tell you, like, yo, I'm not cool with this, and so it's something that I did express, and it took him a while to actually even open up and just say the truth, like, this is what's going on. But I knew, I felt it, and I was like, okay, whenever you're ready. I was not expecting it. Remember when you told me, when you were busy telling me, like, what if this doesn't work out? Do you trust him? And I told you point blank, and I said I trust him, and that was it. And that was it. And I was like, I trust him, and that was it. I didn't go into that relationship with hopes of it not working out. And also, I didn't want to be unrealistic either. I just said, yo, whatever will be, will be. We'll enjoy the memories, we'll enjoy whatever. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
But that sounds like you don't love me.
No.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. You cannot predict love or structure love. It's such a free-spiriting thing. Like, it flows how it wants to flow. Some people's relationships don't start with it.
I believe love is intentional.
Love is intentional, but people are not.
Get you.
People are not. You. I was very intentional about everything, but it was not the same. So love is, yes, I agree with you, 100% love is very intentional, but people, however, are not as intentional as love is, which makes it very complicated to love when you're loving someone who's not intentional about being loved. So that went out of the drain. But I would not, I'm not one to say he's a horrible person. No, he's such an amazing soul. Anytime that I'm back home, I go back to Nigeria, I definitely always let him know, like, yo, I'm here, let's link up, let's hang out.
Are you guys cool?
Yeah, we're cool. We're not supposed to be hating on each other. First of all, we're in the same industry.
I have a different belief though. If we failed at the highest form of love,
is it even love if you're hating me afterwards?
Highest form of look, because a romantic relationship, is a highest form of friendship. So why should we downgrade? Like,
yeah, but then that's the thing with love. This is why I'm saying love is very intentional, and people feel this is where our entitlement comes in. People feel like because they shared a part of their love with you and it came to an end, you don't deserve to be loved after that.
I'm not speaking to any of them.
You know what I mean? Like, look, I'm not saying let's be the way we used to be, because everything has changed. We won't be, but there's no need for us to be enemies either. You understand?
Yeah.
I'm not talking to him as a reservation for like, oh, when I fall back, I'll have somebody to fall back to. No, that's not the point. I'm talking to you so you know I've made peace and we're okay. We don't have to be enemies and we don't have to be best friends either.
Were you heartbroken though?
Was I heartbroken? Yes, I was. I was very sad. And you know I was. Stop asking me funny questions. You know I was. I was really, really sad because I was really in love. Like, I genuinely was in love with this person. But then, life
happened.
Hey, we move on. Yeah, we move. It took me a while though. But like,
you mentioned something very important. Like, you felt something was different. You felt a lifting, as you put it. Is it something that every woman has, or
the sixth sense? Yeah, it's there. It's like, I didn't even know we needed that extra sense, but God was like very intentional about it.
But I don't think everybody uses it though.
Yeah, but then the thing is, you need to also learn to activate it sometimes. Yeah, it's there, but people just don't know it's there.
Is it what we call red flags?
Red flags are, I didn't say that. I'll put it in this sense. You know that little voice in the back of your head?
Yeah, that keeps talking.
You know how we always wonder, like, does God talk to us? You know, that's like always the Holy Spirit telling you something.
Right.
And we choose not to listen. But then I have that at the back of my mind. And then there's this overwhelming feeling that takes over my whole body. And I'm just like, I can't fight this.
Yeah.
And all the time I'm always like, I need to find out where this is coming from. And I press so hard and I get to find out and I'm like, oh, sometimes I ignore it. And when I ignore it, I always regret it. Because I'm like, it even hurts the most when I ignore it, because I'm like, okay. Yeah, but like this time around, I couldn't ignore it. It was such a strong feeling and I had never felt that before. And I started feeling that down, like we had already clocked a year, we were like in the 3rd month and whatever, and then I started feeling like that. Mind you, all this time, I never gave you a bad review whatsoever. Regardless, I'm not one to throw shade. You know, people are not perfect. I'm not perfect either.
Yeah.
But whatever it was at the time, it was beautiful. You know what I mean? But like when things changed, I felt it and I couldn't ignore that, because it was a very dawning feeling. And which was right. Like, all the damn time I ignore my intuition, I always end up in trouble. But this time I didn't want to do that.
Yeah. Would you recommend to me a long distance relationship?
Yes, go ahead, do that.
The last one didn't end well, ended in tears.
I remember you asking me so many questions, and then I was asking you. You remember I asked you at one point, I was like, are you asking this to convince me, or is this for you?
Because it happened to me, and I was telling you from a point of experience, like
yeah, but no, you know what, at some point I always tell people, your relationship, even if you're in the same town, at some point your relationship will feel long distance, because we live in a very busy world. You could travel out for work, you could get promoted and work outside the city and all that stuff. And for me, I was dating someone who's in a different country altogether, but I know people who are in the same town. Maybe the other one is in the corporate belt and they're failing miserably. And I'm like, how are you guys so bad at this? And it's, you see what I was saying about people not being intentional? Love is intentional. But like, we were very intentional. We planned trips, we planned vacations, we were very intentional about everything. And even so during COVID, which was a bit hard because Zambia was on a red list, I couldn't travel anywhere. But after that thing was lifted, let's travel. But yeah, long distance relationships do work. It works if you're dating someone who is intentional about it and you both want it to work, because other than that, even if you date someone who you see every day, it can still not work out if you guys are still not intentional.
Amazing stuff. Nova, I'm gonna have you for a part 2. Definitely. We have a lot to talk about, but obviously new music coming out, we're definitely gonna have you back on here.
Yeah.
But all in all, what are we expecting from you moving forward from here, and when all is said and done, what legacy you want to leave behind?
When all is said and done, I really want to just pave way for anyone else coming after me. I want somebody to listen to Zambian music and not see bundunes. Yeah. I want somebody to...
By bundunes, you mean what?
No, by bundunes, I mean, you know that thing
I know
where...
the artist you're talking about. I'm not gonna mention names here.
I didn't say nothing. So I mean, I want somebody to listen to our music and be proud of my future BET Grammy nominations.
Absolutely.
And be like, yeah, this is Zambian music. This is Africa. And I feel like we should stop putting these tags like Zambian music, Botswana, whatever. Yeah. Like, music is just music, man. Should it have a label, really? Like, just express yourself however you want to express yourself.
Right.
But yeah, I just want somebody to, long down the line, remember that there was an amazing Afro soul artist who came from Zambia, who represented her country. And TV, I always say this and I'll say this again, I am a force to reckon with. Okay, so whoever is in the industry, look out. Yeah, I may or may not be coming for your money, but most likely I'm coming for your money.
Finally, how do people follow you on socials?
So my social handles is Nova Amandhla, Amandhla with an H at the end. Thank you on all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, pretty much everywhere. So because of Facebook, especially for Facebook, my official account has official because my other account was hacked. So if you're following me on Facebook, it's Nova Amandhla official at the end, and Instagram as well because of that same reason. So yeah.
Always a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you for hosting me. I'm
definitely gonna have you back on the show.
It was amazing. I appreciate it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, from me until next week is bye for now.